Monetary neutrality is the proposition that changes in the money supply do not affect real variables. We've already looked at one real variable that it does not affect, and that is changes in the money supply do not affect real GDP. Increase in the money supply will only cause nominal prices to increase. In other words, increasing the money supply is only going to cause wages and prices to increase. So for example, if we double the money supply, then prices and wages will double. Money will not increase the amount of output we produce. Why? Because only real factors of production will lead to the production of more output. Let's consider an alternative explanation, which gives the same story but may be a little more intuitive for you. When prices double, the real wage remains unchanged. The real wage basically just tells you what your wage is worth. So you take your wage, you divide it by the price level, and it gives you some idea about how many baskets you could purchase. If the real wage remains unchanged, then the quantity of labor will not change. Well, we won't see any increase in the quantity of labor supplied, nor decrease. And the same will be true for the quantity of labor demanded. At a constant real wage, there will not be any more labor demanded or any less labor demanded. Therefore, there's not going to be any change in total employment. The same applies for the employment of capital and other resources. So, if we're not going to employ any more resources, in other words, the employment of all resources is unchanged, then total output is also unchanged by the money supply. So, changes in the money supply will not affect your real variables. Most economists believe that the neutrality of money describes the economy in the long run. Economists believe, though, that monetary changes, however, can have important short-run effects on real variables. Let's see how. Let's consider the following parable. Consider a small economy consisting of a baker, a tailor, and a carpenter, who all buy and sell products among themselves. The government decides that it's going to print more money to pay its army. So instead of raising taxes, the government decides we'll just print money and pay our soldiers that way. The soldiers take that money and they go and visit the baker, the tailor, and the carpenter. And they walk in with all their money and they start buying more goods from these merchants. Now the baker, the tailor, and the carpenter, they work harder to please the soldiers, give them the goods and services that they want. And as they work harder, given this increase in demand, they increase their output and raise their prices. Baker, the tailor, and the carpenter, they take that money that they now have and they go out to visit each other. They go into each other's stores, and when they go to buy things from each other, they find that they're no better off than they were before, despite the fact that they have more income that they earn from selling their own goods and services. All the prices have gone up around them. And they kind of catch on and they realize, you know what, it's not worth working so hard because my real purchasing power hasn't changed. In the end, the prices went up, let's say 20%. I earned 20% more money, but in terms of what I could buy with that money, there was absolutely no difference. So they quit working hard and they don't produce as much output. So you see, there was this temporary increase in the amount of output that was produced. Eventually, as the merchants caught on, they realized it was not worth producing more output. So the conclusion, an increase in the money supply can boost the economy in the short run, but as firms and workers come to expect and adjust to the influx of new money, output or real GDP will not grow any faster than normal.